Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? It's late. It is. I thought I saw a car. Was that just lightning? I thought I saw a car coming down the street. Maybe it's just, what is that light from? Oh, it's from my neighbor's house. Maybe it's just the lightning out in the back. How are you guys doing tonight? It's late. It is 3:50 a.m. and I just woke up a little bit ago. Can't you tell? And I'm ready for my Diet Coke. So get your Diet Coke ready. Let's crack it. Do I need to move my camera back a little bit? I think I might need to. Just a little bit. There we go. Okay. And let's pour this Diet Coke and get going. Today was a really, really good day. We actually had beautiful weather in Indianapolis all day today. My husband laid out on the back patio. It was like in the 80s all day today, and like the low 80s. It was like 81 or 82. But it didn't seem too warm, and it was just really, really nice day. These are now my favorite cups, by the way. These big ones that I got. And it was kind of breezy, and it was not cloudy, but it was like spotted with like, you know, really pretty clouds. Blue skies, and just some clouds. And it was just a really pretty day in Indianapolis. And then just about an hour ago, it started lightning and thundering. And I thought little Boo Radley would get scared because it woke me up. But he didn't get scared tonight. He usually does. He just kept on laying in between us. And every time the lightning and thunder would go off, he would perk his little head up. But he didn't act scared. So anyway, let's see. I got up today and I made my coffee. Oh, I listened to a lot of my audiobook last night. I don't have much of it left. I think I have like a half an hour, 45 minutes. Let's see. I'm gonna finish it when I get off here. I have like 35 minutes left of my audiobook. Dead Ends, about Eileen Wuornos. It's pretty good. Like it spends like half the book, you know, finding her and hunting her down, and then the second half of the book is like this just rapid kind of explanation of what happens. If you've watched the documentaries, like the second half is really the documentaries and the attorney that she hires and this Arlene woman that adopts her, but it's all just real fast. I don't know why I have the air on. Well, because it was warm when I was sitting in the car earlier today. Turn the air off. It says it's 61 right now. I could probably just turn the air completely off. What was I gonna say? But yeah, like the first half is it's a lot of stuff I didn't know about. I mean, I knew it from having like watched the movie and stuff, but I didn't know the exact details to like them finding her and stuff. And it goes into more detail in the book. And then the second half is, well, I will tell you what's interesting about the book is that if you watch the documentaries, much of it is about this whole conspiracy that her ex-girlfriend Tyria and the police officers were working together for a movie deal, and it's a big part of the book. So I guess it's fact that really did happen. In the documentaries, if I remember correctly, it seems more like it's speculation whether or not it happens, and you can't really tell because the majority of it comes from her talking about it, and she's so paranoid by that point in the documentaries that you don't, I mean, she's kind of just always really paranoid, but you can't really tell like what's true and what's not at that point. It also goes into like more depth about the adoption with her and this woman. So she's adopted like when she's on death row by this woman named Arlene. And that whole thing is all, like, she's in the documentary and everything. You can see her in the documentary. So the book is pretty good. I'm almost done with it. And my Dear Dawn book isn't here yet. I don't know what I'm going to read next. I'm thinking I'm going to read The House of Impossible Beauties. I don't know. We'll see. I've got so many things to go into here and read. I should go into my library really quick and see if there's anything that I'm, like, dying to read next. Audible, like, went in and they recreated, like, not recreated, but they, renovated, like, how they do everything. So now it's, like, all titles not started, downloaded, and finished. So you can see, like, all the books. I've finished 247 titles. Let's see what books. What books have I downloaded but I haven't finished? Oh wait, what books have I started and not finished? Oh, The Guardians by John Grisham. I've been wanting to read that. And The House of Impossible Beauties. Not many. Oh, Gone South by Robert McGammon. Maybe I'll read that. That would be a good book to, like, go into summer. I kind of like to read books that... So if you don't know who Robert McGammon is, he wrote a book called Boy's Life, which was fantastic. I read it years and years and years ago. Let me see if I can find this for you on Goodreads and read you guys the synopsis for it. Robert McGammon. Let's just go in here and look at A Boy's Life. You know, like, there are several books in your, like, you read through the course of your life, and you're like, here it is. Like, these are some of the best books I've ever read. Like, this book, I don't know why. It's a horror novel. I mean, it's not really a horror novel, but, like, he's a horror writer. But when I read it, I mean, he's kind of, some of his stuff is horror novels. When I read it, like, this book was just, like, I literally couldn't put it down. So it says, in me are the memories of a boy's life spent in that realm of enchantments. These are the things I want to tell you. Robert McGammon delivers a tour de force of storytelling in his award-winning masterpiece, a novel of Southern boyhood growing up in the 1960s that reaches far beyond that evocative landscape to touch readers universally. Boy's Life is a richly imagined, spellbinding portrait of the magical worldview of the young and of innocence lost. Zephyr, Alabama. This was kind of To Kill a Mockingbird-ish, if I remember correctly, but it goes into, like, it's more of, like, the swamplands and stuff around there. Zephyr, Alabama is an idyllic hometown for 11-year-old Corey McKinson, a place where monsters swim the river deep and friends are forever. Then one cold spring morning, Corey and his father witness a car plunge into a lake, and a desperate rescue attempt brings his father face to face with a terrible, haunting vision of death. As Corey struggles to understand his father's pain, his eyes are slowly opened to the forces of good and evil that surround him. From an ancient mystic who can hear the dead and bewitch the living, to a violent clan of moonshiners, Corey must confront the secrets that hide in the shadows of his hometown. For his father's sanity and his own life hang in the balance. You guys, this book was so good when I read it. I don't really remember a whole lot about it. I remember him like this, like, she's like a tarot card reader. It says, what does it say in here? An ancient mystic. I remember him, like, talking, like, she's a big part of the book. Oh my god, it has a 4.35 average rating. That's really high. And then the book that I have, see, he has, like, Swan Song, They Thirst, Mine. These are all, like, horror books. And then Gone South is the book that I have that I'm thinking about maybe reading. Flooded by memories, poisoned by the deadly fallout of Agent Orange, and desperate for work, Dan Lambert kills a man in a moment of blind fear and fury. It is an act he cannot excuse, a mistake that will change his life forever. Now Dan is on the run, heading south toward the Louisiana bayou. On his trail are police officers and bounty hunters, including the most memorable and bizarre team ever paired in modern fiction. Pelvis Isley, an Elvis impersonator of the worst kind, and Flint Murtaugh, a fastidious, ruthless loner and freak show refugee who carries the body of his unformed twin brother on his side. As Dan heads down into the swampland in search of his own salvation, he meets a young woman who is on a similar journey. Like Dan, Arden Halliday bears a great burden, a disfiguring purple birthmark that blankets half her face. Wounded by the stares, by the pity and revulsion, she is making her way into the bayou to search for the Bright Girl, a legendary faith healer who will rid her of her birthmark and her suffering. Though in separate missions, Arden and Dan come to respect each other's quest for freedom, for a touch of simple kindness in a world grown cruel. Thrown together by circumstance, bound by a loyalty stranger than love, they set off on a journey of relentless suspense and impassioned discovery, an odyssey over dark, twisting roads and waterways into the beautiful, mysterious depths of the human heart. That sounds so good. 3.93 average. Sounds good. Someone wrote their reviews. It was hell season and the air smelled of cod. Anyway. Someone said they loved Boy's Life, but they only gave it 2 stars. I will tell you what I don't like, because it's referencing he's like a Vietnam War veteran. I don't like reading books that do a lot of flashbacks, and I don't like movies like this either, that do a lot of flashbacks to like military stuff. I don't know why. I don't find that enjoyable. It makes me kind of uncomfortable. I don't like that. So anyway, I don't know what I'll read next. Oh my, I have 4 friend requests over here. Approve these. And, yeah. So, what did I do? I made my coffee today. And then I started in on my videos right away. And, I made 2 drama videos, a Peterisms video. I've been trying to hold off on this book haul that I'm going to do to see if that Dear Dawn comes, but I don't know when it's going to come. And then I guess I could check on my Audible and see. And then Alex and I did, I put up my vlog. And then Alex and I did a review video. We made vegan chocolate chip cookies, of which I had too many of tonight. And I made mac and cheese for dinner. And we watched RuPaul's Drag Race and Celebrity RuPaul's Drag Race. And they were both really fun. But we didn't do that till really late, and I ate too much. And he had a big bowl of chili, and he's like, I ate too much. And he put some of my macaroni and cheese in his chili, and we just laid there and watched TV. It was just a nice, just none of these days seem like Saturdays or Friday. You know what I mean? Every day just seems like a Tuesday anymore to me. It just really does. So, yeah. That was my day, pretty much. I didn't really do a whole lot more than that. Alex was, outside all day until, 6 or 7. He stayed out there as long as the sun was up while I was, filming videos and stuff. Oh, he had a Zoom call that he did, because it was his uncle's birthday. But that wasn't for very long. So he just had to go in there and say hi. And then he was talking to Lily. He was FaceTiming with Liliana afterwards and the kids and stuff. And so I jumped in there and talked to her for a little bit. And that was right before we ate and watched RuPaul's Drag Race. But yeah, that was kind of the evening. That was kind of the day. It was just nice. I honestly could have just sat on the front porch all day long and just drank lemonade. It was so nice. Oh my God, I almost forgot to say what happened. So I was sitting on the front porch, and this is when Alex was doing his Zoom call. It was about 9 o'clock. And I was sitting on the front porch, and all of a sudden, these 2 police cars come into our neighborhood, and they come racing down over here. And then the one stops and like kind of like angles, and the other one keeps on going, and then like it went around, and then like it, like, because that street's a dead end, but there's like a cul-de-sac, like little thing, like a roundabout, right in front of the pool down there. And so it like came back around, and then they went racing down the other way. So I stood up and I started like walking to where I was walking the last time, which is like right over there. There's like a rock. So the people across the street from us on the corner, they're like on a corner, kind of like, and they have like a rock right there, you know? Like a big rock, like one of those rocks so people don't like drive through their, you know, their yard. So I started walking over there, and as I did, our neighbors from across the street, she walked out, and then the woman that lives on the corner next to the neighbor that like knows everybody in the neighborhood, she started walking out. She was the one that I had talked to before. And then like these 4 other people started walking out. And so we're all kind of like standing on the street, like, what's going on? Well, we could see it across the lake. They were like on the street. I mean, our neighborhood is so small, like everybody knows everybody. And they're all like, oh, is it this person's house? Is it this person's house? And nobody could figure it out. And then there was this woman, and she like runs through the neighborhood, like she, in the early evening. And, she came through, and she was like, she stopped and talked to us. She's like, yeah, I don't know what it is, and blah, 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 blah. And she's like, I'm getting ready to like run that way. I want to, you know, see what happened. And so she ran over there, and then she came back, and somebody had died, and they think it was a heart attack. I have no idea who this guy is, but they all seemed like they knew who he was. Isn't that so sad? So anyway, there was a bunch of ambulances and whatever. And then we were talking about how we still didn't know what happened that night, that we were all out there in the street. And then the woman that's on the corner, she was like, well, he doesn't, she was like pointing to me, she was like, you know, Peter doesn't know what happened to me later that night. And I was like, well, what happened to you? And she's like, well, I was sitting in my kitchen. And she was like, you know, I can look right out at the lake. And she was like, and I always lock my doors. And she was like, and I don't know if, she was like, I had just been out like on the patio because I had been looking for all the police cars and stuff. She was like, so when I came back in, I hadn't gone back there to lock the doors yet. And she was like, and I was sitting in my kitchen, and she goes, all of a sudden, she goes, I hear that back door open from my patio. And she was like, and there's a woman in my living room. And she was like, I was like, hello, can I help you? And she said this woman just like, she didn't say anything, and she just kept on walking around. She goes, she was about, you know, 10 or 15 years younger than me. And she said, she just kept on walking around. I said, well, my God, did you call the police? And she goes, no. She goes, I didn't want her to get in trouble, and I felt bad. I thought, if somebody came in my house, I'm telling you right now. And I was like, well, what about your alarm, blah, 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 whatever. And she was like, well, she was like, you know, I was gonna call, because we all have like the same alarm system through here. She was like, well, I was gonna, you know, like blah, blah, blah. She was like, but all this kind of stuff. And she was like, so I called the one person that knows everybody in the neighborhood. And I was like, oh, which that's my nosy neighbor, right? And so anyway, which is also her grandma. So she goes, she came over, and because she lives right there, and she's like, so she came over, and we got her outside, but she was like walking in my bedroom and looking around, and she was so confused. She didn't know her name, she didn't know where she lived, she didn't know anything. And I said, well, what happened? Did you call the police when you got her outside? She goes, no, we didn't want her to get in trouble. And she said, she goes, I knew she had like dementia or Alzheimer's, I could tell. And she said, all of a sudden they came, like these people were coming down the street, and they're like, your husband's looking for you. He's wondering where you're at. And she's like, it's so sad. She was like, she has like, amnesia, and she didn't know where she was. Not amnesia, she has Alzheimer's, and she didn't know where she was, and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, oh my God, that's so sad. And she was like, yeah, she was like, but I was kind of nervous with her being in my house. I thought, oh my God, I would be nervous too, you know. And then she goes, and then the other woman goes, did you tell him about the woods? And I go, the woods? What happened with the woods? Because we have these woods over here by our pool, and like if you go down, like we have these like pretty thick woods. That's what kind of like reaches behind our house, but our house is like sparse. Down there it's like thicker, and I mean it's like a woods. And she was like, so we've got like this neighborhood that we live in is like inside of like another neighborhood. Like whenever I tell people where I live, they're like, where are the condos? Because like they have no idea that this condo neighborhood is here, right? Because we're like actually in like a residential neighborhood. So it's kind of hard to explain. Like Amazon people and stuff like can never find our place. So they're like, we have a lot of families that live around us, and there's a lot of kids that like, you know, ride bikes and do all that kind of stuff through here, right? But they don't necessarily live in the neighborhood. I don't think any of them live in the neighborhood because this is like an older neighborhood. Well, those kids are always like fishing in the lakes and riding their, I could care less, right? But I mean, these people in this neighborhood go crazy about it. And so she's like, yeah, those boys, those boys. Well, what's funny is that we're really good friends with the woman that lives like right out, she and her husband that live right outside their gate, okay? And she has a daughter that's in college that we know real well. And then she has, I think, 3 boys. And they're like, the oldest one is like, I think like a freshman in high school or something, and then it goes, but anyway, apparently he was part of that. So she's like, yeah, and she was like, and the other woman that was there, she's like younger, the one that was like running, she's like my age. She like walks one night and runs the other night. She's like younger, like, you know, probably closer to my age. And not that we're all like real young, but like younger for this neighborhood. And she's like, you know, I mean, she's like, boys will be boys and stuff. And they were in the woods and they were making like, you know, forts and all this. So apparently they were making forts and stuff, but then they set this huge bonfire up. And I guess that was like the big deal of what happened or whatever. And people went crazy. And so now we're putting security cameras back in there and all this kind of stuff. And there's going to be all these new security cameras everywhere. I was like, great, our HOA fees are going to be going up even more now, you know? And the woman's like, I know. She was like, I kind of was like, she was talking about how the board meeting was today. I was like, I didn't know the board meeting was today. And she was like, yeah, we had the board meeting today. And she was like, we apparently they Zoomed the board meeting or something, but I didn't know anything about it. But she's like, yeah, this is, you know, and I said something about the HOAs, and she's like, no, she said they said that it wouldn't affect the HOAs, but we've got to get security cameras back there. She's like, because we don't want anybody. She's like, we're mostly concerned about, like, the kids getting hurt back there and stuff. She's like, now, they did find 1 beer can. I was like, 1 beer can? Okay, you know? But anyway, so, I mean, I like that our neighbors care a lot to keep the neighborhood really nice and stuff like that. But anyway, it was like so weird. We were out there. I'm like, I write 1 book in the entire neighborhood because of our nosy neighbor. The entire neighborhood, like that's how she refers to me. Okay, like I've worn many hats in my life and had many jobs, and she tells everybody he's a writer. That's what so everybody thinks like I'm like this big deal writer in the neighborhood. Like, and I don't tell them. I never say that, right? And so we were standing out there tonight, and I was like, this neighborhood is starting to become like some mystery novel or so. I said, there's always something going on over here. And that one woman that lives in the corner, she's so funny, and she reminds me of my mom kind of. And she was like, she's like, well, you're the writer, you can write it, you can make us all famous. I was like, oh God, wouldn't they love that in here? But anyway, so I go inside because Alex texts me and he goes, I'm off my Zoom call. So I go inside and I'm telling you, you could care less about this, you know? I'm like, oh, I'm friends with all the neighbors now. Because then there was like all these people that I didn't know, and I was like, oh, by the way, I haven't met you yet, I'm Peter. And they were like, oh, it's nice to meet you. And they're like, now where do you live? And I'm like, over there. And it's so funny because like when people ask you like where you live, they're like, now how long have you been in here? And I'm like, I told him, I said, you know, well, I've been in here for 12 years, but we've like been in this neighborhood because my mom owned the condo since 94. And they're like, you've been in here since 94? They're like, yeah, like they can't believe it because like everybody knows each other, but like I don't know each other like they know them. So I'm trying, like my goal is to be real neighborly this year. Like I want to get to know my neighbors and be real friendly with everybody. I'm starting to know more. I am. Like we know them really well. We know her, and I know the people, the 2 condos across the street. I know them really, really well. And so yeah, and I know the woman over there on the corner, and I know her grandma really well because she's always walking through my yard asking me questions and stuff like that. I used to like, it really did drive me kind of crazy, but I think it's kind of funny now. Oh, and then my mom and aunt's friend, she lives like on the other side of the lake. Because I said to them tonight, I said, oh, is it over by so-and-so's house? And they're like, yeah, how do you know her? And I'm like, oh, she's a family friend. And then my Uncle Dave had a really good friend that, like, he lived in the neighborhood, and he moved out, and then apparently he and his girlfriend moved it back in, and they bought a different condo somewhere. He lived in here for a long time with his wife, and then his wife passed away. And then he lived in here for a long time after his wife passed away. And then my uncle and him used to, like, walk in the neighborhood all the time, my Uncle Dave. And then he moved out of here. And then Caroline was just telling me the other day, she's like, did you know he moved back in there? And I was like, no. And they all, like, everybody in the neighborhood knows him. Like, if his name was, like, let's just say his name was, like, Tom or something, right? Or Don. Like, they're like, oh, is that Don's house? Did Don used to live there? Or Don, isn't that, because he used to do so much in the neighborhood. And it's funny because he was, like, my Uncle Dave's, like, one of his closest friends. But they don't know that. But, so yeah, I was, like, telling Alex, I was like, oh my God, and let me tell you this, and let me tell you, he was just kind of looking at me like I was crazy. I was like, don't you care about all this kind of stuff? He was like, no, not really. I was like, Alex, it's so interesting. But it did remind me, because I was like, all of a sudden, I was like, yeah, I should, like, write some book about stuff that happens in the neighborhood. And then I remembered that I read that book, it was a middle grade, I don't even know if it was middle grade, elementary school. It was more middle grade. It was called The View from the Cherry Tree. And I reread it like a year or two ago in the summer because I had read it when I was growing up. And I loved the book. But I don't know that I ever finished it when I was growing up. But it was just very, like, mysterious and intriguing to me. So I ended up buying it, or somebody bought it for me, I can't remember. But I ended up reading it like a year or two ago, and it was weird because it was still as kind of spooky as it was when I was a kid growing up reading it, even though it was like this middle grade book, right? So this kid, and his sister was getting married, and so everybody was coming and going, and nobody was paying any attention to him, and the cat got into the neighbor's, like, house, and then he thought that, like, she was murdered or something, and it was kind of very Rear Window-ish, but anyway, that was a good book. But it reminded me of this book that I had read years and years and years ago, and I didn't want to look it up until I got on here, but the book was called A Crime in the Neighborhood, and it was by something Barron's. I remember this because I think it was Suzanne Barron's. I used to look up all the time. If it's Suzanne Barron's, I will die that I got it correct. Because I used to look it up all the time to see if she had written anything else. A Crime in the Neighborhood by Suzanne Berne. B-E-R-N-E. Oh my God. So I used to look this up all the time because I loved the book so much that I wanted to find out if she had written anything else. Oh, it has a low average rating. That's interesting. See if she's written anything else. Oh, she has. She's written several things. The book came out in 1998. And since then, she's read, there's even a Crime in the Neighborhood reading guide group guide. A Perfect Arrangement. Okay, so let me read you this. Let me see if I remember it at all. An auspicious debut novel by a young writer who will remind readers of Anne Lamott and Ann Tyler. Crime in the Neighborhood centers on a headline event, the murder of a 12-year-old boy in a Washington, D.C. suburb. At the time of the murder, 1973, Marcia was 9 years old, and as an adult, she still remembers that summer as a time when murder and her own family's upheaval were intertwined. Everyone, it seemed to Marcia and the family, everyone, it seemed to Marcia at the time, was committing crimes. Her father deserted his family to take up with his mother's younger sister. Her teenage brother and sister were smoking and shoplifting, and her mother was flirting with Mr. Green, the new next-door neighbor. Even the President of the United States seemed to be a crook. But it is Marcia's own suspicions about who committed this crime that has the town up in arms and reveals what happens when fear runs wild. I don't remember anything about this book, but I just remember this book was, like, super, super powerful. And I was blown away by it. And I actually, like, it has this cover in here. I don't know if you can see it, but it has this cover that's like a kid running up a hill, and then it has, like, this picture of this house. But I remember the library, I must have read it as a library book, because I can remember it was like a smaller book, And it was a very plain cover on it, and it just said "A Crime in the Neighborhood," and it was like kind of like this like that vignette colored paper. So if you're looking for something good to read, I remember that was very, very good. Let's read what else. Let's see what else. None of her stuff has gotten really great ratings. Maybe I just really liked her. I don't know. A Perfect Arrangement. Randy Gill. It stopped, and I was reading, so I don't know when it stopped. Okay, so this is the book, The Ghost at the Table. Strikingly different since childhood and leading very dissimilar lives now, sisters Frances and Cynthia have nevertheless managed to remain devoted so long as they stay on opposite coasts. But with the reappearance of their elderly, long-estranged father, they find themselves reunited for a cold, snowy Thanksgiving week reunion that awakens sleeping tensions and old sorrows. Frances envisions a happy family holiday with her husband and daughters in her lovely old New England farmhouse. Cynthia, a writer of historical fiction, doesn't... I went out of it. Hold on a second. You guys are like, Peter. Okay, hold on. Someone's husband was a historical writer or something. Okay, wait. Frances envisions a happy family holiday with her husband and daughters in her lovely old New England farmhouse. Cynthia, a writer of historical fiction, doesn't understand how Frances can ignore the past. Their father's presence revives a past that includes suspicions about their mother's death 25 years earlier. Adding to her uneasiness is her research for her book on Mark Twain's daughters, whose lives she thinks eerily mirror her own and Frances's. As Thanksgiving Day arrives, with a house full of guests looking forward to dinner, the sisters continue to struggle with different versions of their shared past, until a warning issued by Cynthia's friend, Carita, that families are toxic and blood is bloody, proves prophetically true. The Ghost at the Table reveals what happens when one person tries to rewrite another's history, and explores the mystery of why families try to stay together even when it may be in their best interest to stay apart. I feel like I read this book. When did this book come out? 2006. I feel like I read this book. This book sounds really familiar to me. But anyway. Somebody's reading Alice Oseman, Radio Silence. I actually have this book on my Audible. Maybe that's a sign that I'm supposed to read it next. From critically acclaimed author Alice Oseman comes a smartly crafted contemporary YA novel, perfect for readers who love Rainbow Rowell's Fangirl. Oh, there you go. This is an utterly captivating, authentic new teen novel from the author of Solitaire, which Voya said could put her among the great young adult fiction authors. Frances Javier spends most of her time studying. Everyone knows a lad last as the quiet boy who gets straight A's. You probably think that they are going to fall in love or something. Since he is a boy and she is a girl, they don't. They make a podcast. In a world determined to shut them up, knock them down, and set them on a cookie-cutter life path, Frances and Aled struggle to find their voices over the course of one life-changing year. Will they have the courage to show everyone who they really are, or will they be met with radio silence? Oh my god, that sounds so good, doesn't it? 4.20 average. Maybe I will read that next. It's short, I know that. I just have to kind of like be in the mood for like young contemporary, like young adult contemporary, or any like contemporary for that matter, that's like a romance or just, you know, like literary fiction. Like I'm so into like listening to thrillers right now. But because I'm going to be doing so much of the Eileen Wuornos stuff this month, I mean, maybe I'm not. Like I was like tonight, I was thinking about like, it was so warm outside, and I was like, I had forgotten that we had like the RuPaul's Drag Race stuff. My plan was to sit on the front porch and like make some lemonade, because I bought all this Crystal Light lemonade, and then I never, all this stuff, this food that I bought for this whole time. I mean, like I bought so much food, I didn't realize how much. So I don't know if they ever, well, I mean, it's not like it'll go to waste. I mean, it can be used down the road, but, the lemonade, I was like, I was going to make a picture of lemonade, and then I was going to sit out there and I was going to watch the Eileen Wuornos documentaries on the front porch, because it was so nice. What's the weather supposed to be like tomorrow night? or tomorrow? Let's see. 60s and rain shower right now. Tomorrow, 71. 60% rain. Yeah. And then all 50s and 60s for the next 2 weeks. Maybe it'll spike up above that. We can only hope, right? Today, like, being out in the neighborhood, like, reminded me of, like, growing up when I was a kid and, like, talking to the neighbors, like, it reminded me of that. I can remember my mom, we had like those crank out windows when I was growing up. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, you crank the windows out and they go out. But anyway, I remember, like, in my bedroom, I had these wooden shutters. And, so I would just, like, I had them on the top and the bottom, so I would, like, open them and push them back, and I would crank out. And I can remember, like, standing, because, like, on a night like tonight, my mother would never, like, we never had the air conditioning on, like, even in the summer when it was, like, warm, like, at night, if it, like, dipped, she would, like, if it went below a certain temperature, my mom, she would not pay to heat, like, to air conditioning the house. And, like, I can remember later when I got older, I was like, Mom, you do realize, like, it's more expensive. And, like, you could not convince her of this, right? I would say, you do know that it's more expensive to let it get warm and then cool it down than it is to, like, just keep it at a steady. Finally, she, like, was talking to somebody from the energy company or something, and they told her that, and so finally she believed it. And I was like, Mom, I've been telling you that for years, because I was like, you know, it's cheaper to, like, keep it at 68 or 70 than it is to, like, let it get to 75 and then cool it down. No, it's not, because you're not using it at night. And I'm like, Mom, she would never believe it. So anyway, her whole life, my mom would turn the air conditioning off at night. Like, come 7 o'clock, she would turn it off. I can remember sometimes laying in bed, and it would be so hot. And, but then I would wake up, you know, at like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and the breeze would be coming over the bed, and it would feel so good, and I loved that air. But, you know, my mom, like, grew up, and she didn't, like, they didn't have, like, what do you call it, air conditioning throughout the whole, central air. They didn't have it through their whole house, you know? And so, I mean, they had, like, window units and stuff. And so my mom never felt like it was, like, this huge necessity when I was growing up. I mean, she felt like she loved air conditioning, don't get me wrong. But, like, if it was cool outside, like, in the summer, if it went into, like, 50 or 60, she would, like, open the windows. And she'd be like, no, I want to air the house out. Like, I want to get, like, fresh air in this house. So today, like, with the windows open and stuff, it just kind of reminded me of, like, I don't know why it's when it's, like, nice out that I think a lot about, like, my mom. Like, my mom was somebody that, like, always had, like, the windows and the doors open and, like, was in and outside, like, really used the back patio a lot. And, you know, she would, like, once it was nice, she would make, like, all of her breakfasts and lunches and sit out there. My mom was somebody that, like, every day she would make, like, she would get up and she would have coffee, and then she would try to have something for breakfast, like an orange or, you know, a piece of fruit, something. My mom was, like, real weird about eating healthy. So, but then she would, like, she would eat real healthy, and then she would, like, eat a gallon of ice cream because it was on sale. So she would eat, like, a piece of fruit, and then for lunch, my mom would have, like, a little salad, and it would be, like, tuna fish on, like, oh, my mom, what did she used to do? Like, she would cut, like, half a tomato out and put, like, tuna fish salad sandwich in it, or tuna fish salad in it, or she would make tuna fish salad sandwiches. It's weird because I don't eat any fish. Well, now I don't eat any as a vegetarian, but, like, growing up, like, I've never, like, been somebody that has sat down and eaten a piece of fish. I don't know that ever in my entire life, except for maybe when I was drunk, did I ever eat, like, fish or fish sandwich. Now, I will tell you that I did eat tuna fish salad sandwiches. And so many people are like, what's the difference? I can't for the life of me explain it to you. I used to eat them when I would go to Subway. And I know people are like, it's the grossest tuna in the entire world, but I love their tuna. But my mom, she would make the best tuna fish salad sandwiches. And I could do that, and I also could do crab meat rangoon at Chinese restaurants, and I could do shrimp and fried rice. But I will tell you, towards the end, like the last year before I was a vegetarian, I could no longer do shrimp in Chinese food. I couldn't eat that anymore. So then it was just crab meat rangoon. And even then, sometimes the smell of the crab meat rangoon was real fishy to me. I couldn't do it. So, like, each time that I've been a vegetarian and gone back out and come back in, it's been harder with certain things, and fish has been the one that's gotten harder and harder each time. Like, I don't know that if I went back out and stopped, I mean, I don't have any plans on doing it, but I don't know if I stopped being a vegetarian, then I could, like, go and eat tuna fish salad sandwiches again. I think, like, that ship has sailed. But I did when I was younger, and my mom would, oh my God, she made it in this metal bowl. We have it inside. It's like this metal mixing bowl. And she would take, like, 2 cans of tuna fish and mayonnaise, and then she would put a little bit of mustard and some pepper, and she put something else in there, like maybe a little bit of curry powder or something. And then she would cut up celery real little. But then the special trick to hers was that she would take those those sweet pickles, you know what I'm talking about? Those little pickles. And like jerkins or gherkins, the gherkins, I think. The last time I called it jerkins, people thought it was hilarious. But anyway, and then she would cut them up real little, and so it was kind of, there's a sweet taste to it. And then she would mix it up, and then she would toast whole wheat bread, and she would put it on whole wheat bread. And my mom would always tell a story. She was like, when Kathy and I were in high school, we would, like, on summer nights, like when we would come home from going out, we would be hungry, and Mother would already be asleep, and she would say, and like their bedroom, they could like get on the roof somehow. And so she said, we would make tuna fish salad sandwiches, and then we would sneak out of our bedroom window and get on the roof, and we would sit on the roof and talk about our nights, because Mother couldn't hear us up there, and then we would eat our tuna fish salad sandwiches. And my mom always told me that, like, when I would eat tuna fish. But my mom, she did make really, really good tuna fish salad sandwiches. I do remember that. She made a lot of things that were good. I remember this one time, she used to have this hors d'oeuvre that she would make, and I made it probably, I don't know, like, it's been since Alex and I were together, 5 or 6 years ago. I made, like, all of the things that my mom had made, and she would bring the things for Christmas one year. It was when my aunt and uncle were still alive. And, like, my mom used to always make orange bread. It's fantastic. It doesn't really taste that citrusy or, like, that orangey. It tastes really just kind of like really good sourdough or yeast bread, but it's delicious, like, warmed up with butter. And then she made raw apple muffins, which they're called raw apple muffins because they actually have raw apple inside of them. They're so delicious with chili in the fall. Or spaghetti or something like that. And then deviled eggs she made. These are just like the things that she would make and take. And then one of the things she made were these hors d'oeuvres. And I asked her one time, I was like, oh, those are so good. Like, how do you make this? And she's like, Peter, those are literally so easy. And those are like something that you whip up at the last minute. She's like, you don't really, like, those are almost kind of like embarrassing to take to like a party because you didn't put like any effort into it at all. And what it was you would take white bread and you would cut off the edges, and then you would cut the white bread, I think it's in half, or maybe thirds. I think it's thirds. And then you take cream of mushroom, I believe. I think cream of chicken or cream of mushroom. I can't remember. Somebody in the comment section before has made these. These are real simple. But anyway, and you put it on one side of the bread, and then you take bacon and you roll it, and so the bacon's on the outside. Where's the bacon on the inside? I think the bacon's on the outside. You roll it, and then you put a toothpick through it. And so it's like this big, you know? And then you bake it in the oven. And, oh my God, they're so delicious. But anyway, they're super easy. I made those a couple years ago, thinking of my mom. It was funny talking to those women out there. They're like, you've been here longer than anybody. I'm like, I know. Like, and not because my mom moved in here in '94, but because, like, the woman across the street, I said something to her. She goes, what did I say? I said, Oh, we were just talking about different stuff that's happened in the neighborhood. And I said, do you remember when, she goes, well, I haven't been here that long. And I said, you haven't been here, because it was like 7 years ago. And I go, you haven't been here 7 years? And she goes, no. She's like, I moved in here like 5 or 6 years ago. I said, oh, I guess I didn't know that. And I thought she'd been here longer. So, I mean, Alex and I have been here for a long time. I sometimes forget how long Alex and I have been together. I mean, it's crazy, you know, that we'll have been together 12 years this August. Unbelievable. And we'll have been married 9 years. I mean, it's crazy. And it just really is. I'm very proud of us as a couple, you know. It seems kind of surreal that we've been together that long. So Alex and I met in August, and I was going back and forth between my apartment. My lease was up in October. So we moved in here in October, but I was staying here sometimes anyway. I was staying here like 3 nights a week anyway, because I was paying for both places at the time. I think around the time that I met Alex, I stopped staying at my apartment. But I don't think I moved everything over until October, because my lease was up. My lease was up at the 1st of October, and Alex and I started dating. So September would have been the last month. Yeah, so that makes sense. So I was completely over here by October 1st of that year, and that would have been 12 years ago. Right? Yeah, that would have been 12 years ago. So, yeah, this September will have been 12 years that I've lived in this neighborhood. It seems crazy. Time goes by, doesn't it? It sure does. Let's go in here and read a couple comments, shall we? Put some more lip balm on real quick. I can't believe it's May 2nd going into May 3rd, and I've already finished my first book of the month. Well, I will have tonight. I don't know why I don't just do it in here. Doesn't that rain sound so pretty? It's so calming, isn't it? Hold on. Like, my phone is loading weird, so give me a second. Okay. I don't know why, if it's so crazy. Like, sometimes if I'm, like, too close to the house, or if I'm close to the house, depends on, like, how many, like, feet back I am, that, like, the Wi-Fi will pick up or doesn't pick up, and then it goes, and it's weird, because, like, you know, I have, like, obviously, Wi-Fi on my phone, but, like, then it will, Sophia's World said, I've gotten so used to the driveway vlogs, it's gonna be weird when you're in motion again. I agree, right? But sometimes when I'm like, if I'm like halfway back in the driveway, if it starts pouring down rain, I may have to take a break for a minute so you guys can hear me, because it might be too hard to hear. What a nice summer storm. I love it. It's not summer yet, but you know, spring storm. Nice spring storm. Sometimes, like, if I'm in the driveway, like when I take the dogs out and I have my phone, like all of a sudden it won't load, and it's like in between Wi-Fi and cell use. Do you know what I mean? It's real weird. I don't know why it does that. Let me get in here to the, okay. Melissa said, I want to do the True Crime Book Club. Excited. Yay. Do you hear this storm? Crazy, isn't it? Magic Me said, I really like the reading comments in the driveway thing. It feels like campfire chats. Better throw some hearts in this comment too. I always forget. Yeah, because I always read your comment. I'm just joking. A Genuine Mixture said, oh, you read my comment. Thank you, Peter. Of course. Julie said, do you still play the violin? Do you own a violin? I do own a violin. It's actually at my dad's house. But I don't play violin anymore. I'm sure I could play like a song, or I can still read music. Fix my hair. Can you guys hear me? Okay, good. You're probably like, no, we can't hear you at all. I can still read music, and I was always like very good at reading music and very poor at playing the instrument because I never practiced. But reading music came just like secondhand to me. My mother was very, very musical. My mother sang and she played guitar and she played harpsichord. I'm thinking maybe I should lock the door, obviously, but I'm wondering if you guys can even hear me. We'll just sit here for a second. It's pretty seeing like the street fill up with water. I love our neighborhood. I used to like, I know that you guys probably can't hear anything that I'm saying, but I used to really not like this neighborhood, and I don't know, like, you know, because I had so many memories of my mom here and now, but now it feels like my neighborhood, you know, and my house, because obviously it is, it's our house, and there's like, we have such huge mature trees. I don't know if you can see this, but, so, it was a couple years ago, lightning struck the tree in our front yard. And so the homeowners association bought us a new tree, and I don't know if you can see it, but like the tree is huge now. The first year, well, even if I showed you, I don't know that you can see it, but it's that tree right there. So, but we used to have a huge tree. I mean, huge tree, you know, like these trees up here, you see? Like way bigger than the house trees. And there's a lot of really huge old like beech trees and stuff in our neighborhood. But when we first got that tree the first year, it was so small that for Christmas I put this big red ornament off of it. It literally had like 2 branches, and I called it Charlie Brown's Christmas tree. And it's just grown and grown and grown. And I think like there's a hominess about this neighborhood that I love. There's just a comfort in it, you know? We were actually talking about that tonight in the driveway. Like, everybody was like, you know, I always feel so safe in here. It's so nice. And, you know, like, if you're sitting on your front porch, you can, like, hear the people across the street. Like, in the summer, you can hear them, like, watching TV on their, you know, like, because they have their windows open. Or, like, we had our back patio open, you know, most of the evening tonight, like our screen door, and we could hear our neighbors next door. Like, we could hear them, you know, like moving around, like we couldn't hear what they were saying, obviously, but we could hear them, like, you know, their TV on and stuff. And so it's just very homey in here, you know? It's just very, and I think, like, I make a lot of jokes about the neighborhood thing, but I think people know this about me. I think you guys know this about me. Like, the things that I make jokes about are also things that are very endearing to me, like the nosy neighbors. I love that stuff. You know, I really do. I love the safety and the hominess of all of that. It's very, very endearing to me, you know? And we, I think, definitely have found our place, you know, here through the years. Alex knows a lot of the neighbors in here. You know, it surprises me. Like, he'll go out, I'll, like, come outside, and he'll be, like, standing in the driveway, like, talking to somebody. I'm like, who was that? And he was like, oh, you know, so-and-so that lives, like, when we first come in, she lives to the right, and stuff like that. And, I don't know. We've kind of found our little, like, our little place here, you know? And I think it's, like, it just is comforting here, you know? And safe. And then I like it. The neighborhood just feels homey. There's just something about it. So, I love our neighborhood. Okay. So the next, okay, wait. So Tracy said, Peter, you can't be allergic to magnesium. It's an essential element that your body needs for various functions. If you take too much, the only side effect will be that you spend some quality time in the bathroom up Schitt's Creek, so to speak. However, you have to have an allergy to one of the fillers they use to manufacture the pills. Perhaps try a different brand. Okay, so I actually looked this up at the time, and I think I read it on here. I don't know what this means. But it says, a very serious allergic reaction to this drug is rare. A magnesium supplement, okay? However, seek immediate medical attention if you notice any symptoms of a serious allergic reaction, including rash, itching, swelling, especially of the face, tongue, and throat, severe dizziness, trouble breathing. Those were all of the side effects that I had. I couldn't hardly, I was like, it wasn't, I didn't have necessarily trouble breathing, but it was like short breathing, and I was itching all over, and so that was like the side effects of it. So I don't know, and then side effects include bloating, diarrhea, Schitt's Creek, upset stomach, nausea. Do you remember that commercial back in the day? It was like, bloating, diarrhea, upset stomach, nausea. Do you remember that one? I'm almost wondering if I, like, took the wrong dosage, is what I wonder, to be honest. Does magnesium make your skin... Okay, wait. Okay, wait. Magnesium... Okay, wait. What are some side effects that I need to call my doctor about right away? And this is for magnesium oxide side effects. Even though it may be rare, some people may have very bad and sometimes deadly side effects when taking a drug. Tell your doctor to get medical effect if you. Signs of allergic reaction include rash, hives, itching, red, swollen, blistered, or peeling skin, with or without fever, wheezing, tightness in the chest or throat, which I had, trouble breathing, swallowing, or talking, which it wasn't that bad, but it just was weird. And so it says also diarrhea. So I don't know why I had that reaction to it. I don't know if I took too much. I don't know what that's about. But that was the reaction that I had to it. So I have no idea why. And I actually, like, never asked my doctor about it. I need to ask my doctor about that. So anyway. Alright, but thank you for that. But if you know more about it, will you please let me know why, like, I specifically had that reaction to it? Is it something that you said the fillers? I had such a weird reaction to it, because like you said, maybe try a different brand. I had such a weird reaction to it. Like, it was very scary to me. Like, I don't want to feel that way again. I swear, like, I look right at the camera and I don't even know that it's going to stop any minute. It just stopped. But like, I would try another brand, but I also don't want to have the same side effect that I had before. So I don't know if anybody else knows about that. Will you please let me know if you've had similar reactions to magnesium? Because like I said, it really did take away the migraines. Like, it really helped. So Tracy, if you know more about that, will you let me know in the comment sections? I would really appreciate that. Linda said, first the eyes, then a little of the memory goes, then health. I'll stop now. You have lots of years ahead. Thanks, Linda. Oh, well, I'm sure that's part of what goes. Well, I will tell you this. It's bad because, like, so, and if you start wearing reading glasses, you'll know what I'm talking about. You can kind of get away. Like, when I'm sitting in the car, like, I can read them, but, like, I'm, like, holding my phone, like, farther out than I, you know, typically would. I also think that it helps because I'm in the dark. I think that this is lit up and I'm reading it in the dark because, like, sometimes when I'm in the light, I have, like, a harder time, like, reading. But, like, today, when I was uploading my computer, or uploading my videos and stuff like that, I had my reading glasses on for, like, the good part of, oh, let's say, I don't know, like, a half an hour to an hour. Well, after that, like, I couldn't read anything without my reading glasses. Then I had to have them on. And I think that's the problem is, like, the older you get, your eyes get worse, right? It's like, you want to go to the reading glass. I don't know why I keep on, like, that bothers me to have a clear windshield. But, you know, like, I want to wear the reading glasses because then I can see, like, what I'm reading easier. I mean, it's crystal clear, right? It's like you're reading with a magnifying glass. But at the same time, then that means that I have to sacrifice being able to see every other time. You know what I mean? Like, the more you wear them, the more you have to wear them. And I don't want to become dependent upon them, like, necessarily yet, you know? Which I guess I already am. Okay. Ina said, "Oh, Peter, I am crying right now, right with you. I need to cry too, I guess. You give us so much, I hope you know that. Remember when you read this comment, I want you to know how grateful I am that I have found you. You've been a rock for me in these hard times. I'm sending you, Alex, Boo, Tucker, and your little angel, PP, some love." I wanted to add little angel in here, because he is special. He is loved. I adore hearing about him. P.S. I miss my fur baby so much. Aw, thank you, Ina. I love that you say rock in there, like, and I'm not to, like, be like, oh yes, I'm this rock getting through all this. I mean, I appreciate it. Like, that means a lot that you say that to me. But, you know, one of the reasons why, like, I was talking about names on here one night, and I totally forgot to talk about this. So, my mother was somebody that it wasn't necessarily important for her to have religious names, but Peter was her favorite apostle. And, you know, some of the reasons that she loved, you know, Peter were because of being, like, you know, Jesus' closest apostle, but didn't want to be so like him that he was, like, hung upside down and things like that. But my mom, I cannot tell you how many things I got through the years, like, that she would give me, you know, like, biblical things as I was growing up, on birthdays and stuff, that would say, like, that my name meant rock of life. Peter means strength and rock of life. And, I forget that sometimes, so thank you for reminding me of what it means. My mom's not around anymore, so nobody else tells me that, you know? Crafty Sutton said, "Mama, the biscuits are done." Oh my God, now that was doggone funny. So, my friend Duke, who passed away years and years and years ago, he took his own life. He was so funny, and, have you ever noticed that some of the people that are the funniest in the world are the ones, I don't know what happened to my hair, some of the funniest people in the world, some of the most creative and talented are also the ones that suffer, I think, so much inside sometimes, you know? And he was definitely one of the funniest people I've ever known in my entire life, and a very, very dear friend of mine. And, when it would get hot, he'd be like, girl, the biscuits are done. He'd be like, turn that heat down, sister. The biscuits are done. I think about him all the time. It's so funny. Madeline said, hello, hello, hello. Peter, I finally had my little baby about 2 weeks ago. Oh my God, congratulations. I watch your videos every single day throughout my pregnancy. Now when the baby is crying, I'll turn on one of your videos and he will stop crying. It's the funniest thing ever. I love that. It's the funniest thing ever. Any whoosies. Oh my God, I love that word. Any whoosies. Okay. I hope you see this comment. Love you. Love you. Oh, that makes me so happy. Congratulations. And Living Life with Lisa and Haley said congratulations too. Lights off. This is from Elizabeth. Lights off, candle on. Plus my favorite soda and watching your vlog. Favorite part of my day. That should be an advertisement for Peter Vlogs. Love that. Thank you. Ina said, Peter, I think I'm confused a little bit. I think this might be an idea maybe. Take a drive once a week for some that miss that. To me, I just enjoy listening, you telling stories and your interactions with us. I'm beyond worried about everything going back to being open. I think it's too early. Love you. Thank you for giving us Peter Monn every day. I appreciate you. I think like when I'm driving and I'm just kind of like rambling and talking, like, I think of more, like, just random stories than when I'm sitting here, you know? Like, I don't know. It seems more just kind of like the camera's on me. I would drive around if I could, and, like, in a week and a half, it's going to open up again. So I will start driving again. And Alex found out today that he will probably be going back to work within the next 2 weeks. Slowly. Like, he might even go back, like, a day or two this upcoming week. So he's ready. He told me today, he goes, I'm ready to go back to work. I said, are you going to miss us? He goes, I'm going to miss you guys a lot. He goes, do you think the dogs will miss me? I said, oh, the dogs are going to totally miss you. He goes, do you think they'll have, what do you call it? Attachment issues or whatever. And I said, they're going to really, I mean, they literally follow him around all day long. Maria said, oh my God, so excited you read my comment from your first videos. My reward for finally being all caught up on your videos. Love listening and watching your videos. Thank you. Thank you, Maria. Heather said, thank you for doing these vlogs. You've reawakened my love of Diet Coke with these vlogs. That crack when you open the can, I open mine too. I love Diet Coke so much, but I'm gonna have to really slow down. Like, it's time to pull it together a little bit, but not right now. I actually, this is how sad this is. The last time that we went to Costco, which I don't even know, does anybody know how long that was? 3 weeks ago, something like that? Maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. I bought two cases of 35, okay? And unless I have a case inside somewhere that I don't know where it is, I mean, Alex may have put the case somewhere that I'm not, because he was the one that brought the cases in, that I don't know where the other case is. I literally just added my very last Diet Coke to the refrigerator tonight, and I have 9 Diet Cokes in there. So that means I have gone through, what, you know, 60 Diet Cokes in 3 weeks. Is that even possible? I mean, I'm really not drinking that much Diet Coke a day. That would be 3 Diet Cokes a day. I mean, I guess it is possible. Every night I'm at least drinking 1. And probably 2, because I go inside and I get another one when I'm done vlogging. So, yeah, I probably am drinking at least 2 a day. So that would be 40-something over 20 days, right? I don't know when that was that we went to Costco. It seems like it was forever ago. Was it like a month ago? This light right here, does it seem brighter than it usually is? Oh, you know what? When we were outside tonight, the guy that replaces the carriage lights, he was walking around. I wonder if he replaced their carriage lights tonight. And that's because they seemed really bright to me tonight. But, what was I gonna say? It's 5 o'clock in the morning. Where you gonna be? outside in the corner. Do you guys remember that song? Well, it wasn't really a song, I don't think. It was this thing that they used to do on the radio. God, it seems like so many years ago. Anyway. I don't know how many Diet Cokes I've gone through, but I'm drinking too much Diet Cokes these days. Like, my stomach is just becoming Diet Coke Central and onion dip. I'm skimming a lot of the comments because a lot of people are sharing like personal stuff to do with what's going on in the world right now. And a lot of people are putting lots of colorful emojis for the essential workers. Thank you, Lisa Kuntz. Thank you, Dane. Hey, Dane. Melissa said, oh, Peter, this was the sweetest vlog. Forgetfulness is a symptom of this quarantine. I know it happens to me. I'm sending all my love to the essential workers out there. We would be lost without you. Thank you so much. So true. And thank you so much. Oh my God. Hope said we had to put our sweet dog Max down today. He was 12. I'm just so emotionally. Oh, Hope, I'm so sorry. Oh, sweetheart. Oh, little Max. I am so sorry. I'm sending you lots of love out there. That is so, it's the worst. Obviously, since I was bawling my eyes out the other day. Hope, I hope, praying for you, Hope. It's really tough. Hang in there, sweetheart. Okay. This is Dane about House of Leaves. She said, I couldn't help but start it. I'm not a fast reader, so Peter, you'll probably catch up and exceed me once you start. Yes, it's all just fun. I'm loving it. Okay, good. Okay, this person has never, I don't think, commented on a vlog before, so I want to read their comment, even though their comment is really long, okay? And this is from Indy. And Indy said, if you only have Z's and Q's, look for some vowels to form ZA or QI. I've been doing that trick, trust me. Been trying to add you on Words with Friends for a couple of weeks now, but whenever you've tried, you're out at your maximum. I only downloaded the app because of your recommendation, but I'm totally hooked now. Aww. Following another recommendation, I also just started watching Schitt's Creek. I'm halfway through the second season already. So far, my favorite characters are David, Stevie, and Moira. And yes, she's a fabulous wardrobe designer. Though I'd wear more of David's wardrobe personally. I would too. He actually dresses a lot like how Alex dresses. Which, of course, my husband loves. I say that, so... As for date night, even in this situation, it's 100% possible. My fiance lives 7,000 miles away. I'm in the UK and she's in Argentina. We Skype daily, but even Skype date nights are always different. Even the times we've matched a film, which we do on many other occasions as well, it always feels different, kind of like the difference between watching something at home or in the cinema. It's kind of about the space you carve out for yourselves. It's ever so important. I think the different intimacy languages is something really important. I have really weird intimacy languages, and they're so different for giving than receiving. I read about them a bit online, but it's so good to hear about someone else's experiences with them. I'd love to read a book on it. I'm reaching out just to say to darling Jolene Joe, I was thinking about you. Aw, that was such a nice comment. Thank you so much. And I think that was such a nice comment that I'm going to end there, because the battery has been on half a mark for a while, and I'm going to do a little bit of a shorter vlog tonight so that I can finish my audiobook, and I also want to finish the vlog, squid, I want to finish the vlog before the battery completely dies, and I'm kind of surprised it hasn't started flashing at me. So, if you've made it this far in the vlog, I'm gonna try to get this outro out really quick tonight. If you've made it this far in this vlog, thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. It means the world to me. Please give this video a thumbs up. It really does mean a lot to me when I get thumbs up on my videos. A lot of likes, but subscribes as well. I like subscribes. I don't know, tell your friends about me. Tell your friends, go watch Peter Monn, Peter Vlogs. Tell everybody about me. And tell them to subscribe to my channel, and leave a blue heart for the wolf pack. That's all of us down there, you know, just trying to put good in the world. And then also a bunch of colors so that when essential workers come through, they can see all of our colorful emojis and they'll know that that's for them, right? So if you're an essential worker and you're looking through the comment section, just know that's for you. And, all right. So I hope you guys are having an amazing Sunday, unless you have other plans. But like I always say, don't have other plans. Make the most of your day. Do something fun today. Do something soulful of your soul to start your week off, to relax and rejuvenate and get ready for the week ahead, whatever that may mean. If you're going to be at home, or if you are, you know, going to be going out because you have to work, whatever it is, prepare for the week ahead and do something fun and watch a movie, you know, and eat something that you wouldn't normally eat. I don't know. And I always do this with my shoulder. I don't know why. Glamour shots. And also do something that will make yourself proud when you look back on it tomorrow or the next day or a year from now or 10 years from now or 60 years from now or 69 years from now. Family friendly. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. Make sure that you look at yourself in the mirror every single day and you say, I love you. You are valuable. You are important. You matter. You are a good person. You are deserving of good things. Whatever you need to hear, whatever you don't believe about yourself, say it until you do. And also, every night before you go to bed, say tomorrow is going to be an amazing day. I'm going to be happy, joyous, and free all day long tomorrow. And if something disturbs my day, I'll just start my day over. I can start my day over whenever I want. My neighbor literally just woke up. It's 5:07 a.m. And when you wake up in the morning, say, today is going to be an amazing day. I'm going to be happy, joyous, and free all day long today. Just try it. But please, if you have never tried it, try it once for me. And say, today I'm going to be happy, joyous, and free all day today. And if I get off track and my day gets off track, then I'll just start my day over. I can start my day over whenever I want. And, yeah, and make sure also that, most importantly, that you reach out to somebody and let them know, anybody, how much they mean to you. But specifically people out there maybe that are essential workers, and say, just, you know, that would be maybe one thing we could do today is reach out to somebody that we know in our life that is an essential worker and say, hey, I just want to let you know how much it means to me. And I know I haven't probably said this, or I've said it a lot already, but whatever, but I just want to say it again. I really appreciate you going out there and working for everybody else. And letting somebody know, or, you know, if you're out and you're interacting with somebody that's an essential worker, saying that to them and saying, do you hear the birds now? I swear I heard a bird. And saying to yourself, hey, I just want to let you know how much you mean to me and thank you for working, you know, for all of us. I do hear the birds. They're hungry, Mama. They're hungry, Mrs. Bird. Oh, Mrs. Birdie. I miss Mrs. Birdie. I think she comes around here. I've seen this bird that looks like Mrs. Birdie, or maybe Steve. It might be Steve with his new wife. I don't know. But anyway, also, remember to practice random acts of kindness. But like I always say, don't tell anybody. Just do it to do good things, to put good out there in the world. Really builds, you know, our own character to do things and not have anybody else in the world know that we have done the good deed, but just to have done it. You know, it builds humility, it builds modesty, it builds character, and it's also about putting good out there in the world. So anyway, yeah, try that. That's hard sometimes to do good deeds and not tell anybody, you know? It really is. And but trust me, down the road, you'll feel so much better. So anyway, try that. And yeah, I think that's it. Anyway, my favorite day of the week, Sunday. I love Sundays. So Always so peaceful and calm and serene. So anyway, I hope you guys are having a great Sunday. I hope you're having a great day today, whatever day you're watching this, if you're not watching this on Sunday. And I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya.